There is no time like now, but how much of your life is dictated by later? I'll do it one day. That's not the right time, I'm not ready. My name is Baiju Solanki. I'm a performance psychologist. I work with entrepreneurs and business owners for nearly 20 years to help them perform at their best in order for them to reach their potential. So think about this for a moment. How much of our life is dictated by time and seasons? Between 8 and 30, we have time, we have energy, but we usually don't have any money. Between 30 and 55, we have money, we have the energy, but we don't have the time. And then from maybe say 55 onwards, we have money, we have time, but we don't have energy. And the reason that occurs is we're unconsciously putting things off because we think we're not ready or haven't got time for that. Because when you're young, you want to build a career, you want to make lots of money, and you might be naturally healthy. But then between 30 and 55, you don't intentionally focus on your health because you focus on making money or building relationships. And then we get to the time later in life when we've got money and we've got more time, but we haven't got the energy because we haven't invested in our health over the period of years, and then we're playing catch up. It doesn't have to be that way. So I'm talking about the 3 pillars that allow you to create much more blend, more balance, and more fulfillment across all areas of your life. Pillar number 1 is the myth of later. Pillar number 2 is the power of seasons. And pillar number 3, how do you create a blend and interconnectedness between all areas of your life? So pillar number 1, the myth of later. There is no later. There is no time when you're going to be ready. It's up to you to be intentional in all of your actions. Because when we say, okay, do you know, tomorrow I'm going to put off my health because I'm too focused on work, is what are you sacrificing? Are you not filling your tank up now to ensure that you get the best out of your work? There's a fallacy to think, well, you know, I've got kids and I've got to get to work and etc. We've all got time. This myth of being busy is a nonsensical thing. So think about this for a moment. What does busy look like? Busy looks like is when we add everything else up in our lives, our 9 o'clock meeting, our 10 o'clock Zoom, our 12 o'clock lunch meeting, the report we've got to write, the emails, we've got all these things during the day. And we add all these things up and we look busy, as opposed to focus on what we need to focus. So if you made a decision to say, okay, I'm going to focus on my health, looking at my day, well, you know, I've got children, I've got my partner, I've got I've got work to do. Where can I rearrange my health? How can I think about my life in a different way to find that time? And sometimes we think we've got to find masses of time. It's not usually the case. It's an hour here, or half an hour here, but we've got to be very intentional. Don't underestimate the power of compounding, because when you take small actions on one particular area where you don't sacrifice, the compound effect is massive. So think about this. Say your default is, I haven't got time to go to the gym. I haven't got time to prepare my meals. So because I've got my family, I've got my career to do. So think about one small action. One small action could be you walk to work, or the way you go to work is you get there half an hour earlier and you walk around the block a little bit and you take the small action. So you say to yourself, is the one area of my life, let's take health for example, I haven't got time for. So then you say you commit to one small action this week and you see how you build that into your life. And then you think about the next small action the week after. And what you're looking to do is gently and slowly build up these small little habits that allow you to incorporate investment in one area of your life that you have a default position of thinking, I haven't got time. And it's the same as a career. You might be very dedicated to your health and things and think, you know what, I haven't got time to start the business I want. It's the same sort of thing. So you say to yourself, okay, what's the small thing I can do this evening? Is there someone I can speak to? Is there some research I can do? Is there some content I can put out there? And it's about taking those small actions. And when you start to compound small actions over time, you're sort of filling the tank of an area of your life that by default you think you haven't got time, but you really have. And it's about also thinking about the legacy you want to create for your life. Because if you put one area of your life off too much and you're not invested in it, trying to play catch up, it's so hard. So if you ensure that every single week you might say, let's say it's 10 actions and 7 of those actions in the primary area of your life, or now it might be the career, 2 of those actions in relation to relationships, and 1 action in terms of the health. And it's about ensuring that at least every area of your life has an intentional action. So you go through different periods, but what you ensure you do is that the legacy you want to create for yourself, one area isn't put off. And this leads me really well onto pillar 2, the power of seasons. And the power of seasons is we have seasons in our life, like we have seasons here. We've got in autumn, winter, summer and spring. And different seasons allow us to create different things. So think about right now, you might be in the season between 30 and 55, for example, and you're fully invested in your career, you're fully invested in your relationships, but your default is, I haven't got time for my health, or the way I would like to do it. You think, well, I haven't got time to go to the gym, I haven't got time to meal prep, by the time I get home I'm really knackered, etc. It's asking yourself, okay, taking one day of the week, a couple of hours, say maybe on the Sunday, and saying, knowing your week ahead, where are the little pinch points you can plan a little bit more? Where do you know you could you could prep a meal more? Where do you know you could get in an extra walk in or an extra exercise in? And it's making sure that, depending on the season of your life, is that one area is not sacrificed. So you prioritize one area, but you create intentional actions in another area. And part of that is shifting the mindset from thinking, I've got to compartmentalize one area, make a compartment for one area, but integrate in those areas. So it might be the case whereby, for example, I've got a standing desk. So if I know I'm going to be working at my desk for one day and not have many meetings, I have a standing desk. So that means it forces me to stand. So it's about interconnecting different areas of your life and habit stacking. It's a bit like what James Clear talked about in his book, Atomic Habits, is when you stack habits together, is you don't feel like, oh, I've got to find time for that area, because you're stacking each one. It's like, maybe say you want to meal prep, but actually you're really, while you're meal prepping, you could be listening to a podcast. So you're investing in your learning in one area of your life, but also meal prepping. So it's about understanding how you can stack different areas, interconnect different areas of your life to ensure that you've got that compound effect. And also understanding the power of reflection and adjusting. So end of each week, journal. Journal's a great way to ensure that you can map out what you've done in the week. And you can journal, look at the 3 pillars. You've got your relationships, you've got your career, and you've got your health. And you say, okay, there are 3 examples of areas of your life. And each week journal, where did you spend time in each of those areas? And was there one area that took more of a pounding than another area? And where do you need to adjust? So every single week is you journal each area and say, okay, where do I need to reflect and adjust in each area, so I don't leave one area of my life for later and do it now. And pillar 3 is about how you blend and interconnect all areas of life. Is when you think about money, your relationships and your health, is to make sure that one feeds the other. So when you're focused on your business or your career, where you're making money and you're making investments in your life, ensure that by focusing on your health as well, means it helps the money. 4 or 5 years ago, I went for a big personal physical transformation. Following a life event, a divorce and stuff, I was looking at my life, I was looking at my identity and thinking who I am and what do I need to do. And I realized that I wasn't paying attention to my health. I did it to a point of view whereby I went to the gym, but it was more for ticking a box so I don't feel guilty for not doing anything. But then I looked at my diet, and I would say 80% of it wasn't good. Was I eating healthy? Now and again, but I chose not to focus on the fast food I ate or the rubbish sweets and chocolates and bits and pieces. Whereas about 5-6 years ago, I made a shift in my thinking to think I need to be more intentional in my health. I fully focused on my health to the point whereby that was a non-negotiable, but not a sacrifice of my business. And what happened was this, something completely unexpected, that when I focused on my health, my mind became clearer, my decisions become better, my focus was better, which meant the decisions I made in my business became better, the kind of connections I created in my business better, and my business flourished purely because I focused on the area of health in my life to a point where it was a staple thing, going to the gym, doing the steps, eating the right food. Because I felt better when I was doing my work, I wasn't lethargic, my energy wasn't down, which meant I made money. So don't put something off now thinking, do you know what, I'm 30, I'm 35, I'm 40, I'll do it later, because time can go like this. And it's understanding that when you start focusing on only one area of life and don't invest in the other 2, you don't win. But when you say you're very intentional to make sure that you focus on all 3 areas and making sure that you appreciate this season, so there's going to be fluctuations where there might be some days and months that you focus more on work, not at the expense of others, is then you start to create the life you want. I hope that helps.